Hello, I'm Dave Penny. This here is Daunt Lee.
Hi, pleased to meet you.
Thanks for tuning in. We got 3 songs for you, actually 2 songs and a recitation. We're going to start with a song that we send out to our esteemed Minister of Health, Dr. Haggie, and our Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Janice Fitzgerald. This is a song that came out of the whole thing back in March when Dr. Haggie made the memorable comment for parents not to let their children lick the shopping cart handles, which, anyway, yeah, it was a great line. So this comes out of that. It's called Doctor's Order. Here we go.
Ready?
1, 2, 3. I'm the one out licking shopping carts, I hate to say, is what a fellow said to me from 3 meters away. They didn't mention me by name, he said, but I think maybe someone caught me in the act and spoke to Dr. Haggie every afternoon. The Premier and the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Janice Fitzgerald, will brief us with the Minister of Health, and Dr. Haggie is his name. Dr. Haggie made a plea and Buddy was to blame. He told the parents not to let their sitting youngsters lick the handles on the shopping cart with germs microscopic. Although he singled children out, I guess that it applies to everybody, even if their mouth is sanitized. I'm the one out licking shopping carts, I hate to say, is what a fellow said to me from 3 meters away. They didn't mention me by name, he said, but I think maybe someone caught me in the act and spoke to Dr. Haggie. Here is the whole story, in case you got to know. I was down in bakery, the sales are on the go. I got a tray of peanut butter balls, small and round, brought in just that morning from out in Charlottetown. I was in a hurry to get in and out right fast. I had to make room for dessert because I got it last. I tucked a tray under my chin and sadly one fell out. It nearly landed on the handle, but I caught it with me mouth. So I'm the one out licking shopping carts, I hate to say, is what a fellow said to me from 3 meters away. They didn't mention me by name, he said, but I think maybe someone caught me in the act and spoke to Dr. Haggie. That was Monday past, I saw that man today. He told me his confession was a foolish thing to say. I wasn't licking shopping carts, I'm only carrying on. Sure, I've been right here in my social distance all along. He wasn't licking shopping carts and he's some proud to say. I suppose he only made it up to lighten up my day. But if you really wants to go out now to pick up milk or bread, please keep in mind what Doctors Haggie and Fitzgerald said. There you go. A message. I can't look at you. Carrying on with that whole message, this whole scene the whole world is in. Also in those briefings, for a little while, well, actually no, for months now, they've been talking about bubbles. At first I thought it was just sort of a catchphrase that Newfoundland had, but no, the whole world is talking about your bubbles that you got to stay in and all that stuff. So this just kind of came from the whole visualization of the government making bubbles for us to wear, which of course never came to pass yet. But anyway, it's called Inside Your Bubble. So don't be alarmed when the very first line is they're making personal bubbles now. They're actually not. So nobody's making bubbles for us to wear. It was just a projection back in March that didn't come to pass. So they're making personal bubbles now, ones that can adjust to meet your height requirement and the 6-foot radius. It's like a giant see-through can, 12 feet across. The government is making them and selling them at cost. Our Premier launched a plan for when people got to go to town, manufactured bubbles to get inside to go around. When stay inside your bubble, he said on the internet and TV, us the viewers didn't realize he meant it literally. There was a warehouse closing up, the lights were off, the doors were shutting, the Premier signed a 6-month lease and then he streamed the ribbon cutting. The cost of all these bubbles, he said, it would be minor. Some materials were donated and there's stuff just lying there. Some were made from alder trees with roofing tar and glue. Some were made from tent poles, don't know where they got those two. Some were reinforced with plastic cut-off salt beef bucket rings, strung together with tie wraps, picture wire and piece of strings. Rubber gloves were on the front to handle carts in grocery stores and shower curtain hooks to haul the bubble off when back indoors. Strong enough to handle high winds, nice and light to carry far, so the actual bubble was 10 mil vapor barrier. It's an unprecedented measurement, our full height and 6 feet around, but we'll get used to wearing them and not to run aground. When walking through a tight spot like in aisles in grocery stores, I hope that they can find a way to fit those bubbles through the doors. Now that we all got our bubbles, sure we can protect ourselves. We can stay 6 feet away, and if we all wear bubbles, 12. When all this is over, when we bring it to a close, what will we do with all these bubbles? Wear them in the rain, I suppose. They're making personal bubbles now, ones that can adjust to meet your height requirement and a 6-foot radius. It's like a giant see-through can, one big 12-foot ring, so we can stock up on our goods while social distancing. Okay, one more. This one will be a breeze.
Oh yes, yeah.
All right, I don't need an intro for this one. We'll just.
This song is pretty self-explanatory.
It is pretty self-explanatory. Yeah, this is Caplin Left Out. This song and the other Inside Your Bubble is on a brand new album called Caplin Left Out.
I think it might be called Chip Waggin' Ahead.
It is called Chip Waggin' Ahead. The album is called Chip Waggin' Ahead. The song is called Caplin Left Out. And it's a true story of sorts. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. There have been many examples of me being scatterbrained. But listen to what I did before we boarded on a plane. We left on a Friday night, was traveling by air. It was a trip to Edmonton, my sister was up there. I had the gear all packed up for the 2 weeks we'd be gone. I locked the door and hid the key from my young fella John to mind the house when I was away, and so I locked the doors. Forgot I left a tray of Caplin on the basement floor. A few days later John came in and noticed something off. A smell was in the air inside the house, it made him cough. He left the windows open, and then when he checked back in a few days, the smell that was in the house was worsening. In fact, when he pulled in the driveway and got out of the car, the maple trees outside the windows he had left ajar were falling down as if to say, I can't take this no more. Someone must have left a tray of Caplin on the basement floor. So he went in the back door. When he went inside, the smell that wasn't there before was 10 times amplified. Plants were almost to the door, and the flower pots they dragged across the floor, but it was buckled up and all the carpet shagged. Bulbs were melted from the pot, lights hanging from the ceiling, pictures falling off the walls, all the paint was peeling. When he went down over the stairs and started to explore, he found there was a tray of Caplin on the basement floor. So he went in the room and started to evaluate. He was responsible for this and he couldn't wait. Should he remove the tray somehow and wipe the basement floor down, or should he leave it where it is to get out and beat it out of town? And scooping up the tray, it wasn't so easy as it sounds. There were several hundred flies buzzing all around. Johnny boy got loving the flies he did ignore. Attracted to the tray of Caplin on the basement floor. From this point on, the story's too disgusting to repeat, but now I'm not the most beloved person living on this street. We'll never know how Johnny got that Caplin out of the house. He must have covered his face and held his breath because it was some Fausty. And in any case, the house didn't rot and crumble down, although it is one of the most avoided ones in town. Every second day, the house is laddered up and rinsed. and has been wrapped in plastic and tarpaulin ever since. Nobody's gonna buy it now, and I'm stuck with this chore because there was a tray of Caplin on the basement floor. There you go. A true story. Caplin Left Out.